Hi everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today, I'll show you a new design, the Dunhuang series, Zhaoyuan Huagoi portable yarn winder tutorial. This product consists of the top cover, base, wristband, and assembly parts. Let's start with crocheting the top cover. It is divided into the base piece and the top piece. First, crochet it, then sew on the beads and assemble. This product mostly uses a chart format for the instructions. Next, I'll first teach you how to understand the chart. In the chart, R plus number indicates the round number. H plus number indicates the row number. The stitch instructions column shows the stitch techniques needed when crocheting the current round, as well as any increases or decreases. The total stitches column shows all the stitches used in the current round, shows the total stitches after completion. Now let's learn how to crochet the base piece. Use the chain ring method for starting. Follow the magic ring, form a loop. The stitch techniques used include X single crochets and V single crochet increases. Now, let's show. Here, I'll demonstrate with yarn of any color. For specific yarn color schemes, as well as hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, start with a chain ring. Chain 8. Don't make the chains too tight. Then form a loop with the chains. Join with a slip stitch to the first chain. Pick up the top loop of the chains. Insert the hook. Pay attention, don't twist the chains. Pull tight. This completes the starting chain. Next, we will crochet the first round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Then, in the large space of the starting ring, crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. Weave in the yarn tails as you go. If it's hard to hook, shift the part you've already crocheted a little to the right. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Tighten. This completes the first round. Next, we will crochet the second round. The stitches in parentheses indicate a group. X followed by a number indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Let's start with the first group. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. First, crochet one single crochet, then crochet one short needle increase adjacent to it. This completes one group within the parentheses. Repeat the corresponding number of groups. Finish crocheting this round completely. After completing, join with the first single crochet using a slip stitch. Tighten. This completes the second round. Next, we will crochet the third round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Then, work the stitches in parentheses. Finish crocheting this round completely. After completing, finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the third round. Now, everyone follow the stitch pattern sequence in the table. Continue crocheting all the way to the 14th round. In later rounds, you may encounter even rounds without increasing or decreasing. This means one stitch corresponds to one stitch. The total number of stitches after completing will be the same as the previous round. After finishing the 14th round, leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Next, we will crochet the 15th round. Take out the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn at the first stitch of the previous round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Then continue crocheting evenly without increasing or decreasing. Secure the yarn tails while crocheting. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 15th round. Now let's crochet the 16th round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Then work slip stitches along the stitches. For the slip stitches here, don't pull too tight. After finishing, join to the first slip stitch chain. Work a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 16th round. Now let's crochet the 17th round. In this round, follow the chains of the slip stitches. Crochet evenly without increasing or decreasing. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Turn, this means to turn the fabric. Turn the piece over. Pick up the last slip stitch first. Work a single crochet. Continue picking up adjacent slip stitches. Crochet single crochets. Keep repeating this process. Finish crocheting this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes round 17. Now let's work on round 18. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, then crochet evenly. After completing, finish with a slip stitch and tighten. This concludes round 18. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Next, Let's crochet round 19. Take the corresponding color yarn and join it. For this round, only pick the back loops to crochet. Let's take a look first. Each stitch has 2 strands like this. The strand closer to you is the front loop. The strand farther from you is the back loop. Pick the back loop of the first stitch to join the yarn. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, then along the back loops of the previous round, crochet evenly with slip stitches. After crocheting, leave about a 10 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Then pass it through the braid of the beginning chain. Next, bring it out from the position where the yarn tail is located. Slightly tighten. Finally, hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. This completes the 19th round. The base piece is now finished. Next, we'll crochet the top piece. It consists of 2 layers, upper and lower. Start with the upper layer, then crochet the lower layer along the edge of the upper layer. The upper layer begins with the chain ring method. Follow the magic ring, form a loop. New stitches used include 5 double crochets popcorn stitch, 4 double crochets bobble stitch, half double crochet, picket of 3 chain stitches, 3 single crochets in 1 stitch and ch1 picket. Now, let's show. Start with a magic ring. Crochet 8 chains first. Then join with a slip stitch to the first chain. Pull tight. That's how you complete the casting on. Next, crochet the first round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Crochet the corresponding number of single crochets into the large chain space. Then slip stitch to join. Pull tight. That's how you complete the first round. Now let's move on to the second round. This round, we'll be working into the front loops of the previous round only. Make 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Then work 4 double crochets into the front loop of the first stitch. After completing, gently stretch the loop a little. Then continue from the beginning chain. The third chain. Insert the hook under 2 strands of yarn. Draw the loop through. Then make a chain stitch to secure. At the same time, push the completed stitches forward. Lift the finished stitches slightly. Treat the completed stitches as one special 5DC popcorn stitch. Then work a chain stitch for an interval. Skip 1 stitch. Work a 5DC popcorn stitch. Pay attention, crochet through the front loop only. Start with 5 double crochets. After completing, slightly enlarge the loop, remove the hook. Then insert it back into the first double crochet, draw the loop through. Make another chain stitch to secure. That completes one 5DC popcorn stitch. Work another chain stitch for spacing. Continue alternating between the 5 double crochets popcorn stitch and a chain stitch. Pay attention, there should be 1 stitch spacing between each popcorn stitch. After completing the last chain stitch, join with the beginning chain using a slip stitch. Insert your hook into the third chain of the beginning chain, which is the position where you initially drew up the special popcorn stitch loop. That completes the second round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Now, let's crochet the third round. Take the corresponding color yarn. First, join the yarn in the first chain stitch. Work 3 chains as the beginning chain. Continue by working 3 incomplete double crochets in the same joining space. Weave in the ends to secure the yarn tail. Then yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. Treat the completed stitches as a special 4 double crochet puff stitch. Next, work 3 chains. Then, in the adjacent chain space, work a 4 double crochet puff stitch. Start by working 4 incomplete double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. This completes 1 4 double crochet puff stitch. Continue working puff stitches in each chain space below. Work 3 chains between each puff stitch. Work this round completely. After completing the last 3 chains, join with a slip stitch to the top of the first special 4 double crochet puff stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 3rd round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Now let's work on the 4th round. Take the corresponding color yarn. Join yarn in the last chain space. Work 2 chains as beginning chain. Then continue with 1/2 double crochet in the same chain space. Work 2 double crochets. Then work a picket of 3 chains. Start by working 3 chains. Then pick up the strand below and the one in front of the stitch. Work a slip stitch. That completes the picket of 3 chains. Continue with 1 double crochet in the same chain space. Work 2 half double crochets. After completing, work a slip stitch in the same position as the previous round. Work a slip stitch. The slip stitch here is for an oval shape. It means not to pull too tight. Then work the corresponding stitches in the adjacent chain space. After finishing, work a loose slip stitch into the adjacent bobble stitch. Work a slip stitch that is not tightened. Next, everyone continues with this method. Complete this round completely. After finishing, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. That completes the 4th round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Below, we will crochet the 5th round. First, take the corresponding color yarn. From the first half double crochet of the first group, pick up 2 strands from behind to join the yarn. Then work 3 chains. Next, in the second last half double crochet on the left side. Pick up 2 strands from behind. Work another slip stitch. After that, work 3 more chains. Then move to the adjacent group. At the second half double crochet, and the second last half double crochet, pick up 2 strands from behind, and work 1 slip stitch in each, chain 3 between them. After that, chain 3 more. Continue below using the same method, until you complete this round. Once done, at the same position, where you joined the yarn, work another slip stitch. That completes the 5th round. Now let's move on to crochet the 6th round. Start with a slip stitch transition in the left chain space. Then make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in this chain space. Work 4 double crochets in the next adjacent chain space. Then work 1 picket of 3 chains. After that, continue working 3 double crochets in this same chain space. Work 1 single crochet in the next adjacent chain space. This round alternates between corresponding stitch patterns in each chain space. Complete this round. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. And that completes the 6th round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Now let's move on to the 7th round. The crocheting method for this round is similar to the 5th round. Take the corresponding color yarn from the last group of this round, the second to last double crochet. Pick up the 2 threads from behind to join the yarn. Then work 4 chain stitches. Then on the adjacent group, pick the second double crochet and the second to last double crochet. Work 1 slip stitch through the 2 threads from behind. Chain 4 between them. Continue with this method for the rest of the round. Finish crocheting this round. After completing it, work 1 more slip stitch at the joining position where you started. That completes the 7th round. Now let's move on to the 8th round. First, make a slip stitch in the adjacent chain space for transition. Then work 6 single crochets in this chain space. After finishing, work another 6 single crochets in the next adjacent chain space. Continue with this method. Finish this round. End with a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. That completes the 8th round. Now let's learn how to crochet the 9th round. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Work 1 chain for the interval. Then skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet. After finishing, make 1 chain. Skip 1 stitch and work 1 double crochet. This round alternates between chains and double crochets, with 1 stitch in between. Continue until you finish this round. Once finished, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Tighten the yarn. That's how you complete the 9th round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Next, we'll crochet the 10th round. Start by joining the yarn in the same position as the slip stitch from the previous round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. Then work 1 double crochet. This stitch goes into the skipped stitch from the 8th round. When crocheting, wrap around the chain stitch from the 9th round. Pull the double crochet slightly higher. Then work 1 single crochet in the adjacent double crochet. Next, work 1 double crochet in the skipped stitch from the 8th round. Continue repeating this process. Work this round completely. Finish with a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. That's how you complete the 10th round. Now let's move on to crocheting the 11th round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet first. Then skip 1 double crochet. Work 7 double crochets in the adjacent double crochet. After completing that, skip 1 single crochet. Work 1 single crochet in the adjacent single crochet. For this round, alternate between working single crochets and 7 double crochets in the corresponding stitches. Work this round completely. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. That concludes the 11th round. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Next, we'll crochet the 12th round. Start by joining the yarn in the second of the first group of 7 double crochets. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet first. Work 1 single crochet in the adjacent stitch. Then work 3 single crochets into the next stitch. That is, crochet 3 single crochets in the same position. Pay attention, you need to work a ch1 picket while crocheting here. Work 2 single crochets first. Then make 1 chain stitch. Pick up the strand ahead of the current stitch and slip stitch it together with the strand below. That completes the ch1 picket. Continue in the same position. Crochet another single crochet. Finish with a single crochet that places 3 stitches in one. Then work 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. After completing, chain 3. Next, on the adjacent group of 7 double crochets, crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. After finishing, chain 3 again. Continue to follow the chart. Work this round completely. Finally, after chaining 3, finish the stitches. Slip stitch. Pull tight. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. This completes round 12. Now let's move on to round 13. Take the golden thread. Join the yarn in the first single crochet of round 11. Wrap around round 12. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. Then work 1 single crochet. Next, chain 5. Don't pull the chains too tight. Then work 1 single crochet in the adjacent single crochet of round 11. Pay attention to keep the chains at the back. Chain 5 again. Work 1 single crochet in the adjacent single crochet of round 11. This round is worked by crocheting single crochets into corresponding single crochets of round 11, with 5 chains in between. Finish this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Hide all the yarn tails on the wrong side. That concludes round 13. The upper layer of the top piece is now completed. Next, we will crochet the lower layer of the top piece. Continue with the first round of the upper layer of the top piece. Pick up the remaining front loops from round 1 to join the yarn. Bottom layer of the top piece. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, then refer to the chart, crochet the number of groups in parentheses. Work this round completely. Bottom layer of the top piece. Finish with a slip stitch and tighten. That completes round 1. Next, continue following the stitch pattern on the chart. Complete the lower layer of the top piece. After finishing, leave a yarn tail about 3 to 4 times longer than the last round. That concludes the lower layer of the top piece. Next, let's sew on the beads. Start by sewing the beads onto the upper layer of the top piece. Attach the larger pearls corresponding to the hook size on round 7. Sew the smaller beads on round 11. Now, let's sew. First, cut about 50 centimeters of the same color thread as used in round 7. Pull out 2 strands from it. Insert them into a finer sewing needle. Tie a knot at one end. Then, secure the yarn tail on the wrong side of round 7. Next, following the method of sewing one bead every other chain space, transition the thread to a point beside the chain space. Insert one bead. Mindful that all beads are sewn into the chain spaces corresponding to the dents from the previous round. Continue carrying the yarn to the next chain space. Sew another bead. After sewing, carry the yarn inside the fabric piece. Then, secure one bead every other chain space. After securing it, carry the yarn inside the fabric piece. Next, continue following this method too. Sew all the beads for this round. I will stop sewing here for now. After finishing, tie a knot and weave in the ends on the wrong side. Next, sew small beads onto round 11. Cut about 70 centimeters of the same color yarn as round 11. Take out 2 strands from it. Insert the yarn through a finer sewing needle. Then, tie a knot at one end. Secure it well on the wrong side. At the insertion point for the double crochets in this round, sew one bead. Attach one bead to each of these positions. After securing each bead, carry the yarn across inside the fabric piece. Next, continue following this method too. Complete sewing for this entire round. After sewing, tie a knot on the wrong side, and weave in the ends. This secures the beads on the upper layer of the top piece. Next, sew the top piece to the base piece. Before sewing, take 5 large beads. Then cut about 50 centimeters of yarn in any color. Pull out 2 strands. Insert them into the needle. String the beads to form a circle. Then wrap the thread around the beads a few times. This prevents the beads from loosening. Pull the yarn tight. Then tie a knot to secure it. Tie a few more knots for extra security. Weave the tail end into the beads to hide it. Then cut off the excess yarn. Do the same for the other tail end. Next, sew the lower layer of the top piece to the base piece. Place the base piece on the bottom, and the top piece on top. Before sewing, attach the beads you just strung securely to the middle of the larger acrylic plate. Secure them well in the center of the acrylic board. On the acrylic board, apply glue around the edges of the hole in the middle. Take out a glue stick and a needle. If you have a hot glue gun at home, insert the glue stick into the glue gun, and preheat it before use. If you don't have a glue gun, melt the glue stick using the inner flame of a lighter and then apply it. Pay attention, align the holes of the beads with the hole in the middle of the acrylic board. Press the bead firmly into place. Now let's start sewing. First, I'll explain the positioning. Place the side of the acrylic board with the bead against the lower part of the top cover fabric piece. The hole in the middle of the acrylic board should align with the hole in the fabric piece. The hole in the middle of the base piece should also align with them. Thread the yarn tail through the sewing needle. Sew a portion of the fabric piece first. Then pass through the second braid next to the slip stitch on the base piece. Then come out at the next stitch, on the right side of the base piece. Next, insert into the position where you just came out on the lower part of the top cover. Come out at the adjacent stitch. Pull tight the yarn tail. Then insert into the adjacent stitch on the base piece. Come out at the next stitch on the right side. Insert into the position where you just entered on the lower fabric piece. Come out at the next stitch on the left side. Tighten the tail end. Insert into the next stitch on the left side of the base piece. Come out at the next stitch on the right side. Insert into the position where you just entered on the lower layer. Come out at the next stitch on the left side. Tighten the tail end. Repeat this process. Continue sewing together. When you reach about halfway through the seam, take out the acrylic board. Fit it well with the opening. If it's still too large, you can continue to sew more. If it's about the right size, wrap and sew around the acrylic board afterward. And if you want it to be secure, you can apply glue on the bead to attach it. Secure it well with the upper fabric piece. Pay attention that the holes must align when fixing. Continue sewing this round below. When sewing later and if the tail end isn't long enough, you can tie a knot on the wrong side and weave in the ends. Then continue by taking a new thread to sew. At the end, you can sew an extra stitch to secure it. After sewing, tie off and hide the tail neatly. This way, the base piece and the lower layer of the top piece are sewn together. Next, continue to sew the beads on the upper part of the top cover. In the last round at these dents, sew one wool bead in each spot. Now, let's sew. Cut about 50 centimeters of the same color yarn as the lower layer of the top cover. Pull out 2 strands from it. Thread them into a finer sewing needle. Make sure the needle can pass through the beads. Secure the tail of the thread first. Then sew the beads at the corresponding positions. The lower fabric piece needs to be attached with chains. For extra security, you can sew again to fix it. After sewing, transition the yarn tail to the next spot and continue sewing. Below, everyone can continue following this method. Finish sewing the beads here. If the yarn tail isn't long enough later, you can tie a knot and weave in the ends. Then take a new thread to sew. After sewing, tie a knot and hide the tail as well. Next, on the second or third circle, from the bottom of the base piece, alternately sew round flat beads and diamond flat beads. The beads should roughly align with the upper layer, so that they are aligned in the middle of each group like this. Below, I will demonstrate the method for you. Cut about 1 meter of sewing thread. Thread the needle and fold it in half. Tie a knot at the end. Then secure the tail in the corresponding position. Next, sew the beads alternately. Pay attention not to let the stitches show on this side while sewing. Similarly, after finishing one bead, carry the yarn across inside the fabric piece. Move on to the next spot. Below, everyone can continue following this method. Sew all the beads in this round. After finishing, tie off and weave in the ends, then sew the beads along the edge of the base piece. Now, let's show. Cut about 2 meters of sewing thread. Thread the needle, fold it in half. Start below any bead. And pick up the second to last round of the base piece. Work the remaining half stitch. Secure the yarn tail. Then thread on 4 pearls. Follow with 1 large wool bead. Add 1 glass bead. Then thread on 1 water drop bead. Pass the thread back through the beads in reverse order. Mindful not to pull the thread too tight. Then insert it through the half stitch again. Follow by threading back through 1 bead. Then thread on 12 pearls. Add 1 wool bead. Follow with 1 glass bead. Then thread on one water drop bead. Next, pass through the glass bead, the wheel bead, and 4 pearls. Then underneath the adjacent flat bead, pick up roughly, and fix it with a half stitch. Finally, exit from the 4th bead. Continue below with the method of threading 12 pearls. Follow the subsequent bead insertion technique. Use this to secure the beads in place here. Let me demonstrate this again. Start by threading on 12 pearls. Then add 1 wheel bead. Follow with 1 glass bead. Thread on 1 water drop bead next. Then pass through the glass bead, and the wheel bead, and pass through 4 pearls in the middle. Then, underneath the adjacent flat bead, pick up roughly the middle stitch, and fix it with a half stitch. Pay attention that the thread here should not be pulled too tight. Pass again through the 4th pearl. Below, continue to secure the beads in this section. After the last group is fixed, thread in 8 pearls. Then pass through the 4th pearl at the start. Finally, tie off and weave in the yarn tail. This completes securing the beads on the top cover. That concludes the top cover section. Next, let's learn how to crochet the base. It also consists of a bottom piece and a top piece. First, follow the chart to crochet the bottom piece. After finishing it, proceed with crocheting the top piece. The top piece is divided into 2 layers, upper and lower. The crocheting method for the upper layer is identical to the first 4 rounds of the top cover's upper layer. After completing it, sew beads between the bobble stitches in round 3. Secure the beads and crochet it on your own. After completing it, move on to crocheting the lower layer. The method is the same as for the lower layer of the top cover. Below, follow the methods you've learned before. Refer to the chart and crochet it properly. Once the fabric piece is finished, proceed with the assembly. Before assembling, string 5 large pearls. Then secure them in the middle of the acrylic board. Next, thread the reserved yarn tails from the upper layer into a sewing needle. Then sew the 2 pieces together. The sewing method is the same as for the top cover. Here, I'll demonstrate a few stitches. Next, everyone continue to sew the base properly. Later, when you've sewn about halfway through, compare it with the acrylic board. Once it fits well, wrap the acrylic board and sew it together. Here's what you need to pay attention to. While wrapping the acrylic board, also place the bottom screw underneath the acrylic board. You can also secure 5 pearls to the piece according to your preference. Next, complete it on your own. After sewing, work some slip stitches. Follow the back loops of the last round and crochet along the back loops of round 14. Now, let's sew. Pick the back loops and join the yarn. Then crochet slip stitches along the back loops. When crocheting the slip stitches, don't make them too tight. Continue to finish this round. After completing all stitches, leave about a 10 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Then thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Proceed to weave in the ends for closing. Finally, hide the yarn tail. Also, make sure to hide the starting yarn tail. Next, everyone follow the same method. Crochet slip stitches along the back loops of the row below. Note that it's the line further away from you, after turning the work. Now, complete it on your own. Next, let's sew on the beads at the edge. Here, I'll explain the positioning using a pre-made piece as an example. A flat bottom half bead like this one takes up approximately 4 stitches. A round flat bottom half bead takes up about 2 stitches. There should be an interval of 3 stitches between each bead. Below, I will demonstrate the method for sewing them on. Cut a length of sewing thread about 3 to 4 times the circumference of the outer round. Thread it into a sewing needle, and fold it in half. Tie a knot at the end. Note that the yarn tail here is relatively short. First, weave in the ends on the fabric piece. Pull the knot into the fabric. Exit at any stitch. Start by sewing on a diamond-shaped flat bottom half bead. This half bead exits at the 4th stitch. Then skip 3 stitches. Exit again at the 4th stitch. Sew on a round flat bottom half bead here. A round flat bottom half bead takes up 2 stitches. Exit at the adjacent stitch. Then skip 3 stitches. Exit at the 4th stitch. Sew a rhombus-shaped flat bottom half bead next. From now on, continue following this pattern. Sew all the beads until you're done. You can refer to the finished product for the pattern here. Alternatively, adjust according to the actual situation. After sewing, make sure the beads are roughly evenly distributed. Arrange them properly. That concludes the base up to this point. Finally, let's learn how to crochet the wristband. It consists of the main body and the edging. First, crochet the main body, then do the edging. The main body uses the chain ring method for casting on. Follow the magic ring, form a loop. Now, let's show. Start with a corresponding number of chain stitches. Refer to the chart for the exact stitch count. Then join with a slip stitch to form a circle. Mindful that the chains don't twist. This completes the starting chain. Next, we'll work on the first round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, then crochet 1 single crochet. Make sure to weave in the yarn tail as you go. 1 chain stitch, then skip 1 chain stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet into the next adjacent stitch. For this round, alternate between skipping a chain and crocheting a single crochet. Work 1 chain stitch between each single crochet. Continue to complete this round. Once done, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. This completes the first round. Next, we'll work on the second round. Make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, then make 1 chain as an interval. Crochet 1 single crochet into the chain space. Make 1 chain stitch between each single crochet. Continue to finish this round. After completing, slip stitch into the first chain space. Pull tight. This completes the second round. Now, refer to the pattern. Finish the remaining rounds. After completion, leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. That concludes the main body. Next, we'll crochet the edging. Work slip stitches along the last round and the starting point. Here, use 2 strands of yarn for crocheting. Here, I'll start crocheting along the last round. Join yarn at any single crochet stitch. Then work slip stitches along the single crochets. The loops of these slip stitches can be stretched slightly bigger. Note: do not crochet into chain stitch positions. Work this round completely. After finishing, leave a 20 cm tail, and break the yarn. Now, tuck in the ends. Thread the yarn tail onto a sewing needle. Then pass through the first chain. And come out at the position of the yarn tail. Gently pull to tighten. Be careful not to make it too tight. Finally, hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. Next, work slip stitches along the starting point. Also crochet with 2 strands of yarn. Here, work along the insertion point of the single crochets. First, join yarn at any stitch. Then work slip stitches along the same insertion point of the single crochets. Note that you also need to enlarge the loop here. After crocheting, leave a tail to close the opening. Once the closing is completed, hide all the yarn tails on the wrong side. That concludes the wristband section. Next, I'll teach you the assembly method. There are 2 ways to use this. I'll explain the first one first. Start by taking the thinner tube and tightening it with the bottom screw. Hold the bottom screw with your hands. Tighten the tube securely. Mindful, don't make it too tight. If you have a screwdriver, you can also tighten the screw from the bottom. Next, slide the thicker tube over the thinner tube. Then take out the top cover and insert the top cover from above. Finally, secure it with the screw on top. Next, take out the wristband and the ring. Insert the circular end into the wristband. Attach the other end to the screw on top. If you need to insert a yarn ball, unscrew the screw on top. Remove the top part and insert the yarn ball. Then assemble it back together. This is the first assembly method. Below, I will explain the second one. Similarly, start by screwing the thin tube onto the bottom screw. Then insert it into the top part. After that, insert the thick tube. Next, secure the top screw. Finally, assemble the wristband. Likewise, if you need to insert a yarn ball, unscrew the top screw. Insert the yarn ball, then reassemble it. That concludes the second assembly method. That's it for the assembly explanation. Up to this point, we've covered everything about this product. If you have any unclear points during the crocheting process, you can contact our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.